The uncomfortable truth. Most people think the reason they're not rich is simple. They don't earn enough. If only the salary was higher, everything would fall into place. But here's the uncomfortable part. Most people who will never be rich already earn more than enough. They have good jobs, respectable incomes, stable careers, and yet decades pass, and nothing really changes. No freedom, no real leverage, no escape. Just a slightly better version of the same life. This matters right now because we're living in the highest salary era in history. Never before have so many people earned what previous generations would call rich money. And yet wealth inequality is widening. More professionals feel broke. More people with good salaries live one emergency away from panic. So something doesn't add up. The problem isn't effort. It isn't intelligence. And it isn't bad luck. It's how the system quietly works and how most people unknowingly cooperate with it. Let's start with a simple story. Two people graduate at the same time. Same degree, same city, same starting salary. One ends up financially free in their 40s. The other works until retirement, maybe longer. Same income, very different outcomes. The difference is not discipline. It's not motivation. It's not even savings rate. It's something far more subtle. To understand it, you have to zoom out. How the system actually works. Most people believe money works like water. Earn more, save more, slowly fill the tank. That's how it's taught. That's how it feels. But money doesn't behave like water. It behaves like gravity. It flows toward systems that already control it. And salaries sit at the very bottom of that system. A salary is not wealth. A salary is permission. Permission to survive. Permission to participate. But not permission to escape. Here's the uncomfortable math. Let's say someone earns a very solid income. Enough to be considered successful. After tax, rent, transport, food, insurance, subscriptions, lifestyle upgrades. What's left? A few hundred. Maybe a bit more. Now stretch that over 30 years. Even with raises, even with discipline, even with smart budgeting, the number looks big at first. Then inflation quietly eats it. Housing quietly outruns it. Healthcare quietly waits for it. And suddenly that impressive career produces a very average outcome. This isn't accidental. The system is designed this way. Salaries are priced after living costs, not before. Your income doesn't decide your lifestyle. The market does. And it adjusts faster than your paycheck ever will. The trap high earners don't see. That's why raises feel good for about 3 months. Then life expands to meet them. A bigger apartment, a better phone, more convenience, less time. The irony is brutal. The harder you work, the more valuable your time becomes. And the more expensive it gets to live the life that workload demands. So you earn more, just to stay in the same place. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people think rich people are just high earners. They imagine CEOs, surgeons, top lawyers. But income alone doesn't create wealth. In fact, income can delay it, because high earners often become the system's best customers. They finance everything. They optimize nothing. They're too busy earning to notice the trap. Wealth doesn't come from working harder. It comes from owning things that work without you. Assets, equity, leverage, systems, things that don't ask for permission when you sleep. Salaries stop the moment you stop. That's the rule no one likes to say out loud. Now let's talk about the hidden mechanism that keeps people stuck. Time. A salary trades time for money. 1 unit for 1 unit. That's fine when you're young. But time is the only asset that never compounds. It only runs out. So every year you rely only on salary. You're converting something finite into something fragile. That's a bad trade. The system loves this trade because predictable earners are predictable consumers. They borrow. They subscribe. They insure. They don't disrupt. They comply. And they're told this is stability. But stability is not safety. It's just familiarity. Now contrast this with how wealth actually grows. Wealth grows in jumps, not lines. It's uneven, boring for years, then suddenly obvious. That's why it feels unreachable. Because most people are trained to expect linear progress. Study hard, work hard, get promoted. But the real world doesn't reward linear effort. It rewards positioning, being early, being leveraged, owning optionality, none of which show up on a paycheck. Someone who earns less but owns a small piece of a growing system can outperform a top earner who owns nothing. Not because they're smarter, but because they're playing a different game. One is running on a treadmill. The other is standing on a moving walkway. Same effort, different outcomes. So why will most people never be rich? Because richness requires stepping off the default path. And the default path is comfortable, crowded, and heavily defended. It rewards obedience, not ownership. The system doesn't need everyone to be rich. It just needs everyone to believe they might be. That belief keeps people working, consuming, waiting. So here's the final question. If your salary disappeared tomorrow, what would still pay you? And if the answer is nothing, how long can that system really work for you?